By the light of the sun, by the depth of the moon, by the flame of the wand, and by the pentacle of earth, I call upon the guides of wisdom, the ancestors of the craft, and the holy guardian angel. Guide us now through the stations of the dove and serpent. Reveal what is hidden, that we may transform it into light. Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Today we walk the path of the dove and serpent spread, an 11-fold journey of transformation. Each position reveals a unique aspect of your journey, alternating between the essence of your being and the events that shape your destiny. Remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Seven of Swords. This is the center. This is the station, your core self in this moment. The tone of your life, your your identity at the moment, your vibe, right? This is the psychic mask that we wear when we're alone. This is who we kind of feel we are when we close our eyes. And this is the Seven of Swords is a card of criticism. It's a card of doubt. It's a card of trying to find the needle in the haystack. It's a card of distraction. It's a card of noise. We're trying to find the signal in the noise, So I think when we close our eyes at night, we're really searching for truth, for wisdom, for clarity. But we don't have the clarity right now. Okay? We have to ask ourselves questions, with this card. What is the truth that I'm looking for? What is the certainty that I need right now? Or maybe we can ask, what am I being distracted by? What is threatening to pull me away from my true purpose in life? Right? What are the distractions that I'm sort of allowing myself to fall victim to? How do I internalize the criticisms of others? And how does it become my own criticism, self-criticism, right? The worst kind. So we're asking ourselves these questions as we're trying to find our purpose and stay committed to our purpose, and not get distracted or discouraged by criticism or by the noise, the static, right? The static that's hiding the signal. So we'll put this card into a little bit of context. Okay, context is everything after all. Oh, look at that. I got the Ace of Cups. That's beautiful. Very nice. We have the Art or Temperance card. We have a Prince of Pentacles. You've got a Tower. You've got a Knight of Pentacles. Over here we have a 10 of Wands. We have a 6 of Cups. We have a 9 of Wands and, we have a Knight of Swords. Interesting that there is no overt Aries reference in your spread today, which is kind of strange, right? But I kind of feel like that's kind of for a reason. I think it's because we've already talked about that enough. Now it's time to really put that Aries energy to use, right? And what I mean is, over the last few readings, Pisces, we've had a heavy Aries influence in your readings. There's always been an Aries card here somewhere, right? And that's because I think a lot of the Pisces population is starting to evolve more Aries qualities. Of course, Pisces is the last sign of the wheel, and then Aries begins the next cycle, so it seems the natural evolution for Pisces. And I think that process is still underway. Of course, we're not talking about that today, right? What we're seeing instead is your search for meaning and purpose. You're finding the path that you want to commit yourself to, and making that change, taking that leap, following your heart here, following that path that has heart, despite your doubts, despite your criticisms. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it over here with Mr. Ed, our little horse, right there on top. Now, of course, we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we look around the room, we see two major arcana energies. We see fire and fire. We see water and water. We see air and air. We see earth and earth. So it's really these doubles, right? So I really feel like that's a big shift. We're kind of going from the old to the new. It's a transitional thing, right? So it's that binary kind of energy. Doubling up on all the cards here. I like it. Your second position is the battle that you face, the crucible of your current transformation. This is the spiritual event where you're being tested or challenged or invited, right? The aces especially are an invitation to follow the path with heart. So what situation right now is pushing you to evolve? What is it that your heart has fallen in love with, right? What do you feel is here inside your core, in your essence, that your mind might be doubting or questioning or confused about? It's like we're looking for this clarity, but you already feel the purity in your heart. Maybe we don't need clarity. Maybe it's that we're sort of looking for a plan. We can't find it. We're looking for, show me the way, show me the path I'm supposed to take. And Spirit's just giving you this heart chakra activation, giving you this feeling of love and passion and purity. And it's kind of saying like you don't need a plan. You don't need to know the answers to the questions. You just need to follow your heart. Your heart is the light now, So we're encountering some resistance to the heart here. It's kind of like your mind maybe is searching for answers to certain questions, but the heart is saying, let's just do what we feel. Let's do what we love here. And then so there's a conflict here between the mind. We want the clarity of mind to go with the purity of our heart, but we don't have it at the moment. I think that your heart wants something that your mind is doubting or criticizing. It could be that you have other people around you that don't seem to be all that supportive of what you want to do with your life, or we're anticipating some resistance from others. Okay, so this is the call to action. This Ace of Cups. It's the dream. It's the hope, the wish, the desire you feel in your heart. There is a purity here, despite me not having answers, despite all of the questions and the confusion and all the noise. There's no noise when it comes to the feelings. In our mind, sure, but in our heart, pure, clear signal. There's no static in your heart. That static's just in the mind. Okay. Down beneath the surface, we have position 3, which is we're descending into the soul, right? The secret chamber of your inner life. This is your unconscious mood, your emotional world, feelings that we are sort of keeping inside, right? Things that we're not quite sharing, things that might be a little unconscious to us still. And this is a deep inner longing for change, for transformation. These are those things that live beneath the surface. And this is the pressure cooker, the temperance card, right? This is a card of transformation. This is a card of us laying down on the blacksmith's anvil and getting hammered by life, right? There is something in you that is ready to grow, ready to transform. It's an alchemical process that's already underway. Okay? And this is that part of your soul that is saying, look, we're not the same as we used to be. We need to grow and continue on. Our external reality has to now start to take shape the way our internal reality has changed. So you've changed as a person, but your life is still the same on the outside. We need to have our inner change, our inner transformation reflect be reflected into the outer world, basically, right? This is the card of the pressure cooker. This is internal pressure. It's saying that your spirit right now is too big for the life you have. It's growing beyond the boundaries of this fishbowl we're in, this bird cage, right? And so we either make conscious choices to start changing our life in certain ways, or things are going to reach a critical mass and we're going to get that tower. Okay, this is pressure coming from inside of you. Your own soul is pressuring you to change your life right now. And we either do it consciously, in accord with this internal pressure, in accordance with our soul or the self, or this is going to continue to operate underneath the surface, and we're going to experience some cracks and some shakeups are going to start happening in our external world, because this pressure it's like a volcano, right? All this pressure underneath the surface eventually is going to erupt. Or we can choose to go forward and do it consciously and intentionally by following this path with heart and making those changes in our life now to ease this pressure so that we don't get that big kind of tower, kind of blow up supernova kind of event. Okay. Now, the card in the background is the dwarf, the echo of the past that's still exerting weight upon the present. It's a formative energy, or it's an event maybe that that restrains, burdens, or delays our progress. This is the card of the builder. It's a fixed earth energy, right? It's a Prince of Pentacles. And this is basically us stuck in place, doing the same thing that we've always done. Nothing changes here. This is somebody who's fixed in place. Okay? And, well, Taurus energy, it's the next sign after Aries. So we're kind of going Pisces into the Aries, now we're into the Taurus. And this card is kind of continuing to do the same thing we've always done because it's comfortable and it's familiar. This is the card that does not want to change. Does not feel, let's say, it's kind of like it's someone who's building a house and they're just saying, I'm not authorized to change the plans. I'm here, I show up every day, I clock in, I do the work, I clock out. It's not my responsibility to change any of the architecture here. And so we remain in the comfortable, in the familiar, right? The familiar flow of life. And I think that this is something that there is that part of your soul that's saying, we need to get out of this. We need to change. Something needs to happen. We're feeling something different now. This is the card that does not want to change, right? That's gotten used to the routine that it's in. And this served you once, because this is a card of commitment. This is someone who shows up every day and puts in the work. This is someone reliable. Okay? And so this is a very good energy, and this served you now. I mean, it served you in a major way, but now it seems like it's a limitation. Okay? And so it feels as if you're sort of stepping out of that very predictable and reliable energy. And other people around you may feel as if you're kind of like, you're kind of going off the rails a little bit. You're becoming a little unhinged because you're not as predictable and as reliable as you once were, because your heart is changing, because you feel something else inside of you, and you're realizing that you need to make a change in your life. Well, anytime we change or we try to change our life, there are other forces in the world that are going to try to stop us from changing, because that means that somebody else's life is changing too. Let's say you have a group of friends, and that group of friends, everybody's been doing the same thing for a long time. We make the same phone calls. Where everybody's working this, similar jobs, and it's a very stable thing. It's very predictable. And I know when I'm going to see my friends, I know what we're going to talk about, I know what activities we're going to do, and it's going to be very reliable, very consistent energy. Once one of those friends decides that they're going to move halfway across the world, or they're going to suddenly flip the script and do something different, it sort of interrupts the flow of all the other friends too, right? Whether maybe this is the work thing, maybe this is you saying, hey, I'm putting in my 2-week notice at work, and of course everybody at work is saying, how dare you, right? Maybe not overtly, but you're disrupting the flow of other people's lives because you're interconnected with other people. So there are always going to be forces that are subtly maybe not so subtle, trying to influence you to stay the same because it's more predictable for them. It's something that they've come to rely on. Okay? Because again, this is a very reliable and a very steady, a very hardworking and committed kind of, a very predictable. And now you're doing something different. Now you have this feeling in your heart that's saying, I want to go do something different now. And of course, we're criticizing ourselves over it because we're anticipating that other people aren't going to take this very well. Maybe we want to leave a relationship. Maybe we want to do a different job. Maybe we want to change something about ourselves or about our life or about our house or where we live. We want to move, whatever it is. You feel it in your heart, but your mind is still a little resistant to it. Okay. Now, this is the big one. That's the giant, right? Position 5. And this is the awakened force within you. This is a core drive. This is a virtue or an ambition. The energy that's going to lift you beyond the inertia of the past. And this is a card of radical change. There's something in you that demands immediate expression. There's a dream, there's a heart, there's this path with heart, this Ace of Cups that's driving you forward. And it's saying, we either do this together or I'm going to do this on my own. It's kind of like either way, this is going to happen. Either it's going to happen with your conscious awareness and involvement and intention and your participation, or it's going to happen unconsciously, like without you being aware of it. Okay? Whenever we suppress something like that, it's going to come and interfere with our lives in unexpected ways. Okay? This is that power to change, and this is kind of like saying we can change our life at any moment if you want to. If you feel it in your heart and you make the decision to change, you can change. You don't have to stay the same. Now, this is, of course, a very disruptive card. So we're anticipating that this is going to have some ripples into other people's lives. I make a big change, it's going to affect other people. When I moved here from California, now we're kind of in the northern Midwest area of the United States. I moved from California, and my abrupt decision, it seemed abrupt to everybody else. I was thinking about it for months. When I finally told my family, they were shocked. It disrupted their predictable kind of anticipation of life. They thought they knew how life was going to continue. And here I say, hey, guess what? I'm moving. Right? And so my choice rippled out and affected other people. It was a bit of a surprise to others. But it was a choice that I had to make, and I'm very happy that I made it. But we have to be aware of the consequences of our actions. We have to know like how our decisions will affect other people, but we can't always let that consideration stop us from doing what we feel in our heart is the right thing to do. Okay? And that, I think, is a really important responsibility. We could stay the same because it'll benefit other people in the short term, I guess. Or we can do what we feel is right for us and for our lives and for your family or your business or whatever it is, even if other people are going to be, let's say, inconvenienced. Okay? The 6th position is the imago, the projected near future shaped by your current momentum. And it's this is the next step for you. And this is you looking at the future. This is you seeing a different future out there for you. The path we were on before, when we're back here with this fixed earth energy, very predictable. This has a very predictable future to it. If I stay here, I kind of know how my life's going to go, right? But if I overcome my own mental resistance and I follow the path with heart, my future now has changed. When I have a vision of a future, it looks way different than what it ever looked before, right? And so if we change direction right now, this is going to reshape the vision of ourselves, who we are, where we are, what we're doing down the road. Okay? You're putting yourself on a new trajectory, a new timeline. And that's what the Tower events do. The Tower events are always big shifts in the timeline. The Tower events are always abrupt changes. It's really the stories that we're going to tell later in life. The Tower moments, those are moments that we remember. I will always remember the moment that I told my family I was going to move out here, right? I'll never forget that day, right? Or that whole period of time where I packed the car up with all my belongings, the few that I was taking with me, and I drove out here, right? A couple thousand miles, and here I am. So the Tower events are those moments of real novelty. They're the exclamation points of life. These are the moments in life that you will never forget. And I think a significant one is, in the cards for you right now. But we have to choose to do it. Okay, this is something that is asking you for, it's going to happen either way, right? Something is going to happen. That energy has to be released and dissipated in some way. You either do it consciously, intentionally, and constructively, or that's going to interfere with your life in sort of unexpected ways. Okay, but the future position now is it's a future that we're choosing. It's not one that is just either being unconsciously created or the future that has already been sort of written. We're taking a chance on this path with heart, and we're going to do a different future. We're taking a different gaze into the future, and we're off on a new course. Path of the Serpent. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. So your persona, card 7, is the 10 of Wands, right? And this is your public-facing self. This is the mask we wear in the greater theater of life. And this is the card of the one who's hardworking and responsible. This is the one that kind of seems to have unlimited energy. This is the person that can carry all the groceries into the house by themselves, doesn't need anything else. And so I think people have come to rely on you as a bit of a workhorse, People have come to rely on you. This is the way other people might see you. People see you as somebody that is pretty much an unlimited resource, an unlimited source of energy. Okay? And this may be indicating also, as kind of the card of your general energy, that we're feeling a little burned out on the life that we have, that this is just not working for us anymore. That we can't continue to put in this much effort to a life that doesn't have the meaning or the satisfaction that we need, right? It's not fueling there's nothing to fuel this fire anymore. Well, that's what the Ace of Cups is. It's finding that path with heart, right? That you will then want to commit all of your energy to. But as the persona, this isn't a face we can continue to put on for the world, right? There's nothing that is sustaining this energy level for this. So this commitment to the life that you had, the commitment to the other people, the way other people are relying on you. Let's say you're going to choose to leave your job and go pursue a different career. You're taking away an energy source from other people. And that's part of our tower, part of our ripple effect. It's kind of inevitable. There's not much we can do about that. Because if we don't find something that is fulfilling for us, we're not going to be able to put in this much energy anyway. So to me, it feels like you don't really have much of a choice. That you need to make a shift right now into a path that's going to be more meaningful, into whatever this purity of heart is sort of, urging you on to do. This is not in alignment with us anymore. This kind of energy expenditure, right? It's like we've been putting in a lot of energy to something that isn't fulfilling, isn't meaningful anymore. And that just seems like it's sort of out of harmony with our true selves. Yeah. The next card is the shadow card. It's the external situation or environment that reveals what you've hidden from yourself, right? This is where the world provokes your deepest lessons. This is a card of compassion. This is a card of family. This is a card of being valued. This is a card of fitting in. This is the card of pleasure and community and connection and all that good stuff. So in terms of your relationships and in terms of your environment, it could be that we're not feeling so connected with the environment anymore, that maybe this is what we want in our relationships, but it's not what we feel. Maybe you're feeling that you're being valued more for yourself as a resource than just for yourself. Especially with that 10 of Wands, right? That we feel like we're only being included here because of what we're providing for others. Because when you decide to make a good, positive change in your life, you would expect the people that love you to care about you and say yes and to celebrate with you and to say, way to go, right? Way to go, Pisces, And I think you do have people that will say that to you. Those are the people that love you and want the best for you. When you're putting in your 2-week notice at work, how many people are saying, that's awesome, I'm happy for you, I'm so proud of you, you're going to go, you're going to kick some butt, you're going to get that life you want, I don't want to see you go, I'm going to miss you, but I'm happy that you're doing something for yourself, you know. And then there's going to be other people that say, well, you really put us in a bind here, Pisces, you know that, right? And those aren't your people, right? Some people are going to see you just as a resource. Other people are going to value you as a spiritual being, and they're going to be happy for you, even if you've inconvenienced their life a little bit. Okay? And I think that's an interesting gauge of who really is part of your tribe and who's not. Okay? And I think that I think you're going to be surprised at the people that do support you, especially with our 7 of Swords. It's like we're anticipating people to criticize, to not really accept it. But here we have the 6 of Cups in the position of your environment. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised that people are going to celebrate with you, that people do want the best for you. And the people that don't, well, they're not your people anyway. The next card is position 9. It's the Spectre. It's the version of you that we sort of fear becoming. It's the identity that we want to avoid, right? And it's a 9 of Wands. It's a card of commitment. It's a card of an oath or a promise, right? And I think in this position that we're afraid of sort of being stuck in our old life because we've committed to it. So you're not somebody that likes to break a promise, you know. You're not somebody that wants to break your word or wants to have to leave or quit or do anything like that, because it kind of feels like this is a bad mark on your character. You're somebody that keeps your promises. When you agree to do something, you do it. It takes a lot. It takes a really big thing, a strong energy for you to sort of break a promise or for you to go back on one of your commitments. Okay. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. Maybe you're breaking up with somebody. Maybe you're moving out. Maybe you're leaving a job or something. It's not a decision that you take lightly. You don't want to become somebody who breaks their promises. You know, I think your word is your bond. And in a situation like this, that's part of our dilemma, right? Because, you know, we don't want to be that way. We don't want to be someone that is committed to something and then has to say, well, you know what, I changed my mind. You know, I've changed my heart. I'm going somewhere else. But sometimes it's the necessary thing to do. But you're not doing it without a lot of thought, a lot of introspection. Okay. We don't want to suppress our heart because we feel an obligation to stick with something, even if this something isn't really serving our needs anymore. You know, what's the benefit of staying committed to something even after you know in your heart that it's not resonating with you anymore. It's not feeding your soul. It's not doing anything for you, but yet you still have this commitment. Who are you serving? You're not serving yourself. You're not serving the other person either. If your heart's not in it anymore, they probably don't want you to still work there. You know what I mean? If your heart's not in it, I'm sure the other person doesn't really want you to stay in the relationship. Okay. So this, I think, is something that we're dealing with, and something that we've thought a lot about. Yeah. The next card is your destiny card, position 10, the projected outcome, right, of the current pattern. And really what this is, it's the Knight of Swords. The Knights are always looking at the future. And the Knight of Swords is saying, I'm leaping into something that I don't have the full plan yet. You know, I don't have the divine blueprint yet. I don't know exactly what the road's going to look like. But we know that if we stay in the predictable Prince of Pentacles, we know what I'll become if I stay on this path. But if I take this new path, not really sure what's going to become of it. And so the people that are sort of criticizing or questioning, and probably the questions that you've asked yourself, are kind of the nature of like, well, why would you leave a good, stable thing to go and do something that's unpredictable and uncertain? And it's kind of like, well, I must really, really love this. I must really feel it. I must feel that truth inside of me somewhere if I'm willing to take this kind of a risk and figure things out as I go. We can stay in the safe position we're in and have that very predictable future. Or we could leap into the unknown and figure things out along the way and sort of, and take, kind of claim our destiny, claim our future a little bit more deliberately and see how things might unfold on this new path. When I left California, I didn't know what my future would be. I knew that if I stayed in California, I could pretty much tell you what my life would have been like. Okay. At least in the moment, I felt like I could predict. But moving out here, it was unknown. It was an adventure, and there was no real plan except to pack up my stuff and go out there and drive out there. And we prepare as much as we can. I still had my job that I was able to do remotely, which was very helpful, but didn't know what the future would be. Didn't have the plan. We sort of wing it, And I think that's what this card is all about. It's leaping into something and letting the plan unfold as it needs to. That I don't have to have all of the data first before I do something. I don't have to wait until I have a perfect plan before I take action. Okay. So this is us kind of leaping into something with half a plan or not even that and just seeing where it goes. Well, let's look at the mystery card, position 11, the guide, right? The guide appears, the inner voice of wisdom, the higher personality, the future self calling you home. This is your most sacred companion walking just ahead of you, right? And this is the card that's going to ask us, what wisdom needs to emerge? Who do I need to become? What values or strengths do I need to embody in order to move forward? What is the message from your higher self? I think it's going to be maybe the Hermit. It might be an ace of something. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. It could be the Taurus energy, it could be an Aries energy, I don't know. Let's see. The Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups, I was right, it was an ace. The Ace of Cups is an answer that says yes, follow your heart. You're being given the gift of an opportunity to follow the path with heart. There's a lot of risk, there's a lot of, there's a lot of other factors, a lot of collateral damage, a lot of casualties. Not everyone's going to be happy, but you have to do what you feel is maybe going to make you happy and follow the path with heart. Okay. And that's the message that's trying to reach you from within. That's saying, look, you're transforming your life, that internally in your spirit, in your soul, you're already ready to do this. It's like you kind of internally, especially with this pressure cooker in here, right? It's kind of like you've already made that transformation inside. Now we just have to reflect that change in the outer world. Okay? And start living that truth that we feel, that purity that we feel in our heart. All right? Now, let the lessons of these 11 stations settle into your heart. Each card is a mirror. Each station is a transformation, alternating between who you're becoming and the world you're creating. Remember that the tarot does not dictate your future. It reveals the pattern of possibility. It invites you to co-create your destiny. If this reading has illuminated your path in any way, please share your reflections down below. Together we journey onward, ever upward and ever inward. And we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Pisces on Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.